What internet marketing expert should you spend your valuable time listening to? Listen to someone who has over 20 years of web marketing experience and hundreds of website marketing success stories. That man is Aaron Sparks from Site Strategics. And this is Edge of the Web Radio.
Okay, hey, we got an article from Crazy Egg. Crazy Egg is an awesome software tool. And the author is Charisse Jacob. I tell you what, it's a great tool to be able to measure. What it does is it overlaps a heat map of interactivity. You can actually track where people click, not just on links, but actually non-linked areas of your content. It's a very intuitive data gathering tool that's just it's so fun to actually see all the heat map patterns that you can actually see over a website.
Sometimes it makes it sad.
Yes, it does.
You do this awesome job and you put this great call to action and nobody's clicking it.
Yep.
Yeah, but it tells you that nobody's clicking on it, so you can fix it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so hey, the web form, right? It's present on nearly every website, and yet there are so many other testing opportunities, like layout of a website or design of a website. You know, that gets the lion's share of the attention in any type of testing environment.
Yep.
The web form is your salesperson. It's the final. It's like picking up the phone and who's on the other end, right? There's a consumer experience for using a web form. So why should you bother testing your forms? Why?
Oh,
What can you change, you know?
You can, well, you're going to tell us what you can change, but
That's
forms
right.
can have an incredible impact on conversions.
Yep.
You got that right. I mean, let's face it, up to this point, everything your visitor knows about you is based on what you tell them, right? You dangle a nice, juicy offer over here, back it up with all the necessary trust factors, which you should be doing, guys.
Yes.
And you hope for the best. Now's not the time to skimp on making it easy for them to take action, which in most cases involves filling out a form. Now, we talk about conversion rates a lot of time, and basically we see it as a funnel, as that people come to your website, and different user profiles are in different states of buying readiness.
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes one person will revisit several times before taking the next step into the process. At the end of it, you've got a web form. You have to collect their information. You have to know who they are before you can contact them, right? But if you actually impede that with poor performing web forms, I mean, look at it. You're actually stopping them and saying, no, I don't want your business.
Yep.
That being said, there are 10 small fixes you can make to improve your conversion rates on your web forms. And we're going to start that right now. Check it out. Number 10, keep forms short and simple. There's no shortage of studies that show that form length, right, actually really does matter. And the shorter, the better. All right?
Yep.
Size doesn't matter, Doug.
Thanks. I've never had a problem.
As it turns out, shorter forms have helped save one company $10 per lead. A small price that can quickly add up when you're paying for performance. So that's why we have a very brief form whenever we're doing landing pages. You can have a little bit more articulation, a few more fields on the organic traffic, but you got to keep that brief because you're paying for that lead, and you don't want to frustrate somebody having to fill out so much.
If you got basic contact information, you need more. Once you reach out to them, you can gather that information on that.
Absolutely.
Second when we reach out.
It's like fishing, right?
Yep.
You get the hook in its mouth first.
That's right.
That's
right.
And then worry about reeling it in and getting the net out and everything else.
That's right. That's a very good analogy. It really is.
Thank you.
No problem. Hey, Marketo actually discovered that it was cheaper to have customers fill in only the crucial data and then buy the rest from a data broker. Check that out. Wow.
Yes.
As opposed to potentially
We do that.
losing out. Do you do that?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I wrote a post recently on that on the Marketing Tech blog.
I read that.
About why you go get sources of data. Because a lot of people go, why would I buy a list? Why would I buy a list? Well, one of the great reasons to buy a list is to supplement your list.
That's beautiful.
So send your list out. They can append all that data, and then you can segment them and figure out who they are, whether they're the right person. Yeah.
I love it.
And it's not that expensive.
And I mean, think about that as opposed to having an individual going down hunting down that information
exactly
and getting it accurate or not.
Yep.
If you can actually pull this information, you have a much larger understanding of your consumer base.
Yep.
Number 9, incorporate responsive, touch-friendly forms.
Yes.
That should be actually higher up. If you look at Instagram's login field, it's short and simple, but it's also touch-friendly for mobile devices. The truth is, in this day and age, responsive design is a must-have as people are accessing the web on all kinds of touch-compatible screens. If your forms are too small and cumbersome to work with, even on a smaller screen, you can bet potential customers will just simply give up. I've done it. We've all done it. Everybody, raise your hand.
Yep.
We've all done it. All right, number 8. Be careful of what you ask for. I like this. Putting a phone number field on a form sounds like a great idea, right? After all, it gives you the fastest, easiest way to connect with a prospect. But people are leery. They don't want to be sold to either from you or anyone else that you happen to sell their number to.
Yep.
And that's a perspective that people will have, even though you're not doing it. And you should certainly proclaim that, hey, your information is completely kept within us. This goes nowhere else. Even with that, do not call registries, people are being called in the middle of dinner, and it's still a very real concern for many people. Other studies have shown that more form fields you require, the more conversion rates drop. Now that requirement is you cannot go further in until you fill out this field. And I know for all of our listeners, they've had that same experience. Hey, there's a point in which you're deciding, is it worth it?
Yeah.
And if you are impacting that experience with your customer by having too many required fields, okay, you're just pushing them away. Now, I think that's one of a key point of frustration. And phone numbers in particular, there's a great degree of hesitation than with any other email addresses. Did you know that we also champion a great tool? It's locally based in Indy called FormStack. FormStack is a form builder tool, and that's all they do, and you can embed that form on your website. They have statistics, and they've been really revamping how they're tracking how people are using the forms. They're now actually tracking the points of hesitation of different fields. So they fill in this. When's the drop-off? When is the abandonment? And they actually will track which field is triggering that abandonment. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yep. All right, number 7, highlight the current fields. This doesn't only support mobile responsiveness, this is also generally a good practice. There's perhaps nothing more confusing than clicking on or tapping on a form, especially on a small screen, right? And accidentally typing your email address into the phone number and vice versa. Mint actually solves this issue by highlighting the current field so there's less potential for mistakes. A small step, but it's probably going to improve the lead quality on a regular basis. Number 6, keep it simple and straight. Multi-columned web forms are fairly common. They're a common way to get most information out of a small space, but beware, mobile responsiveness and general web browsing, right? Those expectations dictate a horizontal form, okay? I'm sorry, a vertical form. The horizontal forms lead to greater confusion. Don't go horizontal. Just don't do it. In one study conducted in 2009, only 1/3 of users preferred a horizontal scrolling area, although preferences are growing towards a more horizontal layout because of the connection with books and ebooks readers. Well, keeping your form simple and straight will lead to fewer mistakes. Number 5, avoid this most common pitfall. It's a very common place to put the title of the form in the form itself, okay? If you have a form builder, or it'll pipe in the additional title along with the headline of the page. The problem is the text normally disappears from the moment that you put your cursor in the field, leaving the user trying to remember what information they were supposed to input in. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The field data, as opposed to a label on top of the field, it's passing that field data straight into the field. I've done it before. What do they want here?
Yep.
You're going to have people believe. That's just a lost lead right there. All right, flexibility is the key. If your form requires users to register in order to use your service, give them the freedom to sign up using one of the existing accounts, like a Facebook account or a Twitter account or a Google Plus account or a LinkedIn account. The days are now that you can integrate all these connections, all these social media connections together. Address common concerns as well. When a user reaches your form, depending on your headline, offer, and call to action, they may be having an internal dialogue with themselves about, is this really free, right? But if you answer the question right there next to the form, if it's really fee, how much am I eventually going to be paying when my trial runs out? If you actually answer that visually right there, instead of trying to sway them that it's a free service or a free trial and they don't have that answer, I mean, that just unfetters concerns right there. Last but not least, actually, one more here. Remove distractions. It goes without saying that form areas, much like landing pages, should be clear of all distractions that you can possibly make on them, right? I mean, it's you don't need to have related products. You don't need to have a lot of garbage just that shows the user all the credentials. They're already there, okay? They're already at the contact page. They're already at the form. Let them do what they want to do without trying to oversell them. And last but not least, one last thing. It's a very common question. What happens next, right? So whenever you submit a form and you get redirected to a thank you page that hasn't been thought out of additional information, that user just passed the threshold. They took the plunge, right? And if you have a dry thank you page without additional information or what to expect or here's some additional phone numbers, you know, that's the last piece. Right? Okay, you've already got their information.
I'm gonna have to go back and do mine.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
was like, they had the social icons or how you follow us on social media.
So thanks. That's not enough.
That's not enough. I'm sorry.
Like you take them out to dinner and you just left.
Exactly. All right. Hey, all these things are great techniques to improve your web lead forms. Use that. Go through the podcast. Go through every one of these. We're going to have the link on edgeofthewebradio.com. Check it out. Check out everything that they say over there. It's on top of that, try out the Crazy Egg tool. It's a fantastic tool. All right.